On this episode of RC Kicks, well, I'm a big fan of the WLToys 124019 buggy that I decided to get its sister car. So stay tuned to find out, is this as good as that? Hi and welcome to RC Kicks. Well, we're back at the WLToys little buggies. Now, this was on the show not so long ago. I'll put a link up here, go check that out. And I'm super impressed with what you get for the money. Ready to run, throw in your batteries, jobs are good. And it's a good looking buggy. Well, I personally feel it's a good looking buggy and I think they nailed the colour. So I thought, well, since I'm so happy with that one, why don't I get the sister car? Now, the sister car for me, I'm not sure whether I like it as much as this one. So let's take a look and see what you get. Now again, ready to run, no difference. Price-wise, they're the same. You get a manual, you get your rubbish charger. Don't use these chargers, they're rubbish. You just use your own normal chargers. That's what I do. I just use this and I have a little adapter and I charge it off of that. It's much quicker. Obviously, you've got to stay within the boundaries of the battery itself, but these things are rubbish. And I did see someone report that not working straight out of the box, so yeah, don't use them, they're rubbish and it takes 3 hours. So let's have a look. Ugh. Usually they're packaged okay. The last one I had delivered actually came with a massive, what looked like a punch hole through the front of it, but this one turned up with no problems whatsoever. Obviously that's courier, that's nothing to do with WLToys or where you get it from, that's just how things are. It's shipping all the way over from China. But this one turned out okay, and the other one was just fine. It was only the box. So let's have a look. Oh, I need to make those a bit stronger. So packaged exactly the same. I'm guessing the remote will be exactly the same. Yes, exactly the same as the other one. Yeah, I stuck that on the bottom, so that would be very confusing, wouldn't it? So there you go. Price wise, I'll put a link up here of what the current price is. Also, I'll put a link in the description to where you can get it and all the specifications for it as well. Now, naming, in the last video when we talked about this one, people were saying about naming that it's called the Explorer, but it's not really. It's just a load of random words on the front. Explorer Off-Road Racing Conquer the World. So, but they're commonly known as 124019 and 124018. But that's what they're known for. Also, I picked up some spare parts. A few people commented that the diffs can be a little bit iffy on them, so I picked up some extra diffs. I have actually dismantled this one and I've put a metal spur gear in it, but I dug into the diffs and everything is fine. Some people also commented that there was no grease in the diffs. In this one, there was plenty, so I had no problems with it whatsoever. From that point, the only issue I had when I was changing over to a metal spur gear, and there was no real reason apart from it was for sale and I thought I'll put it in, was there's a screw that held it in and I rounded it off with my Tamiya Allen key. I think my Tamiya Allen key is starting to wear out a little bit because as I was using it to build my Kuroshio Javelin the other day, it started rounding again, so I think it's more that. But I had to drill it out and put a new one in. But I did it, it's fine, it was no problem at all. And that's not really a bad reflection on WLToys cars. Personally, from a looks, I think this is much better looking. And yes, I'm not really into the whole futuristic cab forward, but I think they nailed it with the colours. The body and the wheels and the anodizing was really nice. So this one, very different. One thing, you look at the two buggies and you think there's no way they're made from the same chassis. They look very different. So if you're a big fan of this, this is different enough to justify having it. They're both just as fast as each other. Well, maybe this one's slightly faster. I'll actually weigh them. I do like the way you get into it. You just lift that up and that's your access point. And then when you look down into the car, you realize it is basically the same chassis as this one. But they've put like a sort of plastic roll cage that goes all the way down the sides and then up and round. So there's quite a lot of extra work in this kit. Now, if you can get them for the same price, this one probably costs them more to manufacture, as this is just a simple body on the top. Access is fine for what you need. I haven't actually taken the full body off to get access to it if I was going to change any servos or anything. That would be more work on this one for sure. Exactly the same integrated electronic speed controller and receiver. Motor is identical and so is the servo. Does that have a metal prop shaft? That one does. Yes, they both have exactly the same servos and prop shafts and everything. Yeah, it does feel slightly heavier. Shocks are the same, but just color coded differently. You can actually see there's some gold bits from this car that came to this one that they haven't got rid of. This car is more silver, red and blue. But some of the gold has actually got in the end pin plates. They are still gold. And then if you turn it over, the chassis is identical. You get an extra wheel with this one. Obviously that's more for looks, but the wheel does work. You can swap it over. Right, that's enough waffling. Let's take it out and give it a blast and put them over some jumps and see what we think. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed that. What did I think after running them and giving them a bit of a bash? This one I think I would get if I was going to give it to a youngster. It seemed to be more rugged with the plastic, and it has a plastic wing, whereas this one having a polycarbonate body and the wing, I think if you were jumping them a lot, this wing eventually would fail more than this one. So yeah, I personally prefer the look of this one. And they do drive slightly differently. This one seemed to be much happier going over the stones. This one bounced around a lot more than this did. Yes, it is a little bit heavier, but not by enough to warrant you noticing any difference from a speed or anything from that point of view. So it's personal choice. Can I recommend them? Completely, yes. But you've got to remember that they're not a £500 car. I recommend them for what you get for the money. They are good bang for buck, I think, personally. Obviously, you can get into talking about VAT and stuff like that and importing stuff from China versus buying locally. Yes, I understand that as well, but obviously I'm not really digging into that from that side of it. You make your own decisions. But the thing that I like about these the most is they're very honest, as in, go out, drive it, smash it up, who cares? It's cheap. You get parts for next to nothing. It's like honest RCing. You don't have to stress about, oh, am I going to get that part? Am I worried if I get a scratch on the body I've just spent a day painting? They're fast enough as they are. You could basically just leave them as they are. Do nothing to them but take them out and blast them around. Break them, who cares? Just spend a few pounds, put them back together again, and out you go as well. So I think that's where they really have nailed it. Also, from a power point of view, I think you get enough zoom out of them to have fun with them. They're not sluggish and they're not insane. They don't just pull crazy wheelies and backflips and stuff like that. But you can jump them perfectly well. So there you go. That's the WLToys 124018 and 124019. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.